Second thing is that there is a relationship between the mind and the heart. That the mind are the parents and the emotions are the children. And this is critical. That emotions are children. It's critical that we recognize that emotions are children. And basically, tonight is a parenting class. We have a parenting class. We're going to learn about children and about parents, because each one of us, inside of us, we have 7 children. Those are the 7 emotions. And we have parents. That's the brain. Now, anybody who's ever been around children knows that just because you have parents doesn't mean the children behave. So even though the children come from the parents, and the parents are well behaved, that doesn't in any way guarantee that the children are going to behave. At the same time, the parent has the power to control the children. Now, how do you control children? Well, it depends. It depends how old they are. So when they're very young, you cannot reason with them. It is simply a waste of time. Don't try to reason with a 2-year-old. There's no reason. There's no reasoning with them. You can't reason with them. So what you need to do is, if you want to have peace, you need to impose. You know impose? It's bedtime now. We're going to bed now. I don't want to go to sleep. We're going to bed now. You don't try to explain to them, you're going to be tired in the morning. You're very cranky right now. I think you need to go to sleep. No, I'm not cranky at all. I don't need to wake up in the morning. I don't have to go to school. There's no arguing. You can't argue with them or reason with them. You just need to impose. And so when emotions are very little, very young, you need to impose upon them, because there's no way to deal with them. But here, who are the parents? By the way, just FYI, imposing is your willpower. So when your willpower kicks in, and you just decided you're doing this, you are doing this, then guess what? Your emotions won't be able to get in the way. Your brain certainly won't get in the way. It just pushes everybody aside and just says, this is what we're doing. So basically your willpower is called the dictator. No connection to the movie coming out. So your willpower is a dictator. It comes into the situation and it imposes its will. That's what willpower is. It doesn't reason, it doesn't negotiate, it just imposes. It just says, this is what we're doing, and that's it. But here, we're talking about parents. Parents are not dictators. They are when the children are young. And that's because the child is young, there's no relationship. The parent can't really relate to the child yet. But once the child gets a little older, you cannot impose on your children. It's not a good idea. The Torah tells us that you're not allowed to impose upon your children at a certain age. Because if you do, they're going to rebel against you, which is not a good idea. You need to work with them. You need to develop them. And the good news is that you can. You can. Parents can deal with their children. They can influence their children. They can make a difference in their child's life. And we're going to talk about it just from a emotion point of view. Okay, so the emotion can be reasoned with. This is, I think, revolutionary from the Alter Rebbe. That Tanya is telling us that your emotions can be reasoned with. You can talk to them. You don't have to impose upon them. Sometimes you have to. When the emotion gets